Donald Trump is announcing his cabinet picks at rapid speed. It's like the political NFL draft, except only one team is drafting. Sorry, Democrats. We assumed his team would be a combination of business people, insiders, and outsiders, but no one could have predicted the people he would tap. After rolling out more conventional types, Trump dropped some shocking names. The first eyebrow raise came with Trump's pick for Secretary of Defense, Fox News host Pete Hegseth. Well, at first, this gave many people pause. Hegseth is actually a great fit to lead the Pentagon. He served in the Army National Guard, he was deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan, and he earned 2 Bronze Stars during his service. Given that he's not part of the elite defense apparatus, Hegseth will be a disruptor to the Department of Defense, and that's a good thing. He's talked about getting DEI out of the military and reprioritizing battle readiness to defend the U.S. against its enemies. In other words, the only thing that matters.
Any general that was involved, general, admiral, whatever, that was involved in any of the DEI woke shit has got to go. Either you're in for war fighting, and that's it. And that's the only litmus test we care about. You got to get DEI and CRT out of military academies so you're not training young officers to be baptized in this type of thinking.
And it's about time we had a Secretary of Defense who is closer to the enlisted ranks than the defense bureaucracy. I say this as the daughter of a Vietnam veteran. As NR's Charlie Cook says, Hegseth is a lot closer in age to the average deployed American than many past defense secretaries. Also, we have a recruitment crisis, but not for long if Hegseth gets confirmed.
And as far as recruiting, to hire the guy that, did Top Gun Maverick and create some real ads that motivate people to want to serve.
Next up on the surprising list is Marco Rubio, Trump's pick for Secretary of State. It's surprising because, well, it's conventional. An Iran and China hawk, Rubio represents a more classic conservative foreign policy. We've come a long way from little Marco.
Don't worry about it, little Marco, I will.
All right, well, let's hear Big Don. Donald.
Don't worry about it, Don't worry about it, little Marco.
All's well that ends well. But to balance out Marco Rubio, we have Tulsi Gabbard, who stands apart from the rest of the national security apparatus nominees like Elise Stefanik, whose strong record on combating anti-Semitism on college campuses just earned her ambassador to the United Nations, where she will defend Israel against a chorus of hostile, dictatorial bullies. Gabbard, who ran for president as a Democrat in 2020, is now fully a Republican because she says Democrats were going down a road of censorship and authoritarianism. She also believes in foreign policy restraint, which is now the GOP's MO more than the Democrats. Here's what she had to say about the Cheneys.
Dick and Liz Cheney are always eager to go and waste the precious lives of our brave men and women in uniform, sending them off to go fight in stupid military adventures. And yet they themselves are too cowardly to put themselves in a position where the enemy's guns are pointed at them.
The criticisms against Gabbard are that she was soft on Syrian dictator Bashar al-Assad as a means to fight al-Qaeda in Syria. She came out against the strikes on Assad in 2017 and even met with Assad. Remember, Assad used chemical weapons on his people.
I take the example of those leaders who have come before us, leaders like JFK, who met with Khrushchev, like Roosevelt, who met with Stalin,
like Donald Trump,
Reagan, who met.
She was at odds with Trump on this back then, so we'll see what happens in the future. Best case scenario may be that she focuses less on foreign policy and more on reining in the rogue elements of the intelligence community. But I will say, for a man who allegedly hates women, Trump sure hires quite a few. His very first announcement was Susie Wiles as White House Chief of Staff, a guru of political operations. After running Trump operations in Florida in 2016, flipping the state that went twice for Obama, she helped Ron DeSantis win the race for governor. And then in 2021, she returned as CEO of Trump's PAC. In 2022, she shifted to be, effectively, his campaign chief of staff.
We knew going into this election that it really was time to change the Republican coalition.
After Trump's sweep in the Electoral College and popular vote, he had to reward the woman who led a masterful campaign, getting those low-propensity voters to turn out. She mainly flies below the radar, but she is a boss. She is the first woman, by the way, to hold the position of White House Chief of Staff. To all those DEI Democrats, keep punching air. And now, for the rising star of the movement and the richest man in the world.
Well, we set up Doge.
Yes.
How much do you think we can rip out of this wasted $6.5 trillion Harris-Biden budget?
Well, I think we can do at least $2 trillion.
Yeah!
To the unproductive government employees out there, your days are numbered. Elon Musk, who cut 80% of staff after buying Twitter, is going to clean house financially in the government. DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, will be headed by Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy to, you guessed it, drain the swamp. The department's profile on X got over 1 million followers in 48 hours. And apparently DOGE will only accept super high IQ small government revolutionaries willing to work 80+ hours per week on unglamorous cost cutting. They're taking applications. Fiscal responsibility is so back, baby. Milton Friedman would be so pleased. Also on the list is Kristi Noem for Homeland Security, Lee Zeldin for EPA, Mike Huckabee for Ambassador to Israel, Mike Waltz as National Security Advisor, and Tom Homan as Border Czar, John Ratcliffe for CIA, Stephen Miller for Deputy Chief of Staff. But the most shocking pick so far is Florida Representative Matt Gaetz for Attorney General. A MAGA favorite, Gaetz has made Trump his entire personality. He famously plunged the House into chaos with the effort to topple former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, which his Republican colleagues remember. He's made enemies on both sides of the aisle in the chamber. Leaving aside that Gaetz only practiced law for 2 years, the reddest flag is that he was wrapped up in a House Ethics Committee investigation, which had some very serious allegations. See for yourself.
There's a reason why no one in the conference came and defended him, because we had all seen the videos he was showing on the House floor that all of us had walked away of the girls that he had slept with. He'd brag about how he would crush ED medicine and chase it with an energy drink so he could go all night. This is obviously before you got married. And so when that accusation came out, no one defended him, and then no one on the media would give him a time of the day.
Is it possible that all these allegations are false? Maybe, but his Twitter history is not doing him any favors. No words, one House Republican put it in a text message to National Review after hearing the news of his nomination. Once Trump made the AG announcement, Gaetz immediately resigned from Congress, and that conveniently ends the House Ethics Committee's investigation, just before it was set to release its findings. While the world may never know the details of the report, it's safe to say that Gaetz is unlikely to be confirmed by the Senate anyway. Having already lost moderate Senators Murkowski and Collins, it's pretty easy to imagine 2 other Republicans voting against him. He can only afford to lose 3. At the very least, however, Gaetz will likely be a lightning rod, distracting the media and the left from the more substantive picks who will sail through the confirmation process and get right to work. Now that the Republicans have fully secured the trifecta, this government is positioned to be one of the most effective in recent memory. So much winning. If you want to see the craziest of the craziest left-wing meltdowns over the election results, click this video here. RFK2 now. Things are about to get wild.